they're fighting together and they play the music, oh my gosh, Live and Learn. I'm not even gonna lie, I almost cried.
Good luck.
Alright, what's up YouTube? Back at you with another video. So we're here with the Sonic the Hedgehog 3 official movie spoiler reaction review. And I don't think I'm gonna have nearly as much to say as I had in my first rant about the second movie, but I just got home from the theater, and when I say this movie was, I would say, a B+ to an A-, depending on the criteria I'm basing it on, it is safe to say that this was a phenomenal film, and I really enjoyed myself. And in the theater, I said to myself, if I was going to make a video talking shit about the movie for the right reasons, I should also make a video talking well about the movie for the same types of reasons. So without further ado, let's get into it. I wanna start things off by basically explaining why, or reiterating myself as far as my reasoning for my first rant 2 years ago. And the reason why is because I grew up playing Sonic the Hedgehog video games, and this is something that I said before, and I will always say that. I'm a proud fan of Sonic the Hedgehog. I grew up playing Sonic Adventure, Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, Sonic Heroes, you know, Sonic the Hedgehog, or, you know, technically Sonic 3, you know, depending on, you know, who you ask. And for them to make a Sonic the Hedgehog movie, my whole thing is I want them to do it right, because Sonic is a franchise that I hold close to my heart, you know what I mean? Because I still play it now. I still listen to all the music, and this is something that I'll always come back to, you know, whenever I feel like going back to it. So I don't remember what I said as far as Sonic, I don't remember what I said as far as Shadow the Hedgehog is concerned, but I had a feeling that if the movie was going to be good at all, it would only be because of Shadow. And in fact, that was actually what enticed me to want to go see it, because I wanted to see how they were going to depict Shadow, but also how his story was going to translate on screen. And they did a fantastic job. You know, I'm not disappointed at all. Let me go ahead and talk about, I guess, why I like the movie. So I'll start off with the fact that they did Shadow great, and I'll pinpoint Keanu Reeves' performance as Shadow, or his vocal performance as Shadow, or voice performance of Shadow, was good. And I was a little worried because I didn't want him to sound like Neo from the fucking Matrix or John Wick, you know what I'm saying? I wanted him to kind of sound as close to the voice actors that did Shadow before as possible. So it's like, I don't really want to tell the difference. I don't want to know that Shadow is being voiced by somebody else. I want him to sound the way that he's always sounded. And I would say for the most part, I felt like I was listening to Shadow. I think it took me a little while to get past, like, oh, this is Keanu Reeves, and let me get invested into the character. And it didn't take all that long to do it. I think they did what I was most curious about too was just how they were going to do Maria and how in depth they were going to go into it. And they didn't get super deep. It was just more so he made friends with Maria, they spent a lot of time together, and their relationship got cut short because of Gunn and I guess whatever it is that, you know, Gerald Robotnik had going on, you know what I'm saying? And his dark side was born after she died, you know what I mean? And that was something that they didn't, you know, go into too much detail in the video games. At least I don't think so, because I remember in Shadow the Hedgehog, I think they expounded on that a little bit more. But I haven't played that game in so many years that I don't actually really remember just how deep they went into Shadow's relationship with Maria. But I know that was the focus, because if Shadow has any ill feelings towards humanity at all, it's because of that. I mean, because the only thing that I thought was a little off at first was him teleporting a lot, because I was just like, well, that's not really in Shadow's skill set to really teleport. And if he was able to do that at all, he was able to do that because of the power of the Chaos Emerald, which I see they made, I guess, the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds like the same. And I guess probably because I haven't seen the first film. Well, I saw it, but I kind of skimmed through it. I didn't really watch it the way that I watched the second one. But it seems like the Master Emerald is basically, oh my gosh, I can't drive for shit. But basically the Master Emerald apparently is the combination of all 7 Chaos Emeralds into one. So when you combine all 7, you get the Master Emerald, which from my recollection of Sonic the Hedgehog lore and everything, the Master Emerald and the Chaos Emeralds are 2 separate entities. And in fact, the Master Emerald is what balances out the energy or the powers of the Chaos Emeralds. So they're not one singular thing. So I think like the Chaos Emerald broke, and then it turned into the 7 Chaos Emeralds, and then that's what Sonic used to harness it to become Super Sonic, which I thought was a little odd, but nonetheless, like I didn't really mind that. But you know, it was really, I feel like Shadow the Hedgehog was my favorite part of that movie. I think if he wasn't in it and it was about like anybody else, I probably wouldn't even have enjoyed it the same. The way that the movie started out, I really like the tone of the beginning and the relationship that Sonic, Tails, and Knuckles have as a whole. Despite, you know, my issues with Knuckles, I think I enjoyed his role in their group. You know what I mean? Like each one of them, kind of like Tails was saying, is that, you know, Sonic is the leader, Tails is the gadget, the brains behind everything, and Knuckles is the muscle. But I enjoyed that dynamic between the 3 of them, and overall the moral of the story. So it's like I always say that there's a moral to the story. There's always a message that they're trying to convey with the story that they're telling. And I feel like one of the biggest ones was choice. And that you always have a choice. You know, no matter what circumstances you come from, you always have the choice to do the right thing, even though sometimes making the right choices and doing the right thing might not be the easiest choice. I really enjoyed that. Shout out to Jim Carrey. Jim Carrey was probably my favorite part of the second one. And again, like, I feel like if Sonic or Shadow aside, Jim Carrey carries that movie. You see what I did there? Yeah.
That's cool. Check it out.
But he definitely carries that movie for sure. Like his acting, because technically it's like a live action / animated film, but he's like a healthy balance of both because he's just naturally animated himself. And I really liked the fact that he played both roles, but he did it in a way that was very entertaining and it was funny. Like, in fact, even though some of the jokes were a little too on the nose, I found myself laughing a lot and enjoying the humor in the movie. And I don't remember laughing at all at the second one. So I truly believe that I feel like it's almost as if the people behind this movie, whether it's the producers or the writers or whomever is in charge of the screenplay and the direction of the film, I feel like they really listen to the fans. I feel like somebody must have came across my rant in the last 2 years and made a point to include good fan service. You know what I'm saying? Because Sonic the Hedgehog 3 is basically the story of Sonic Adventure 2 Battle, but very loose. You know what I'm saying? So it kind of weaves in and out of the storyline, but also maintaining its own original story without necessarily copy and pasting the whole entire thing. And you don't really know unless you have played Sonic Adventure 2 Battle to know like the very like subtle shit that's happening. Because like for one, Sonic, and then when they're going to Japan to, I guess, go find out to go confront Shadow for the first time, he jumps out of the helicopter and he goes, he's like, talk about low budget flights, no food and movies, I'm out of here, some shit like that. And he jumps out, and then I was like, oh shit, that's from the first cutscene in the game just before City Escape. So I was like, okay, that was cool. Dr. Eggman, he had the ringtone with they played it for like a split second, but it was the Eggman theme that plays right before the Egg Golem boss battle, and I caught that. So it's little things that I really appreciated. It's like they Because what I hated most about the first two Sonic movies, even though again I didn't really see the first one from start to finish, is that I felt like they were alienating longtime fans of the franchise. Because I understand that this is a movie that is geared towards the kids, like little kids now, and introducing Sonic to a newer generation, but at the same time, it's just also catered to people like me who grew up watching and playing the games. So it's like, I definitely felt seen and heard. So it's almost as if it's like the movie was a statement to people who didn't like who might not have liked the first or the second one, and they were like, okay, we hear you, you know, and we're going to include things with you in mind. Because again, a little kid is not going to catch these little, you know, fan service nuances that we would catch, and I really appreciated that. It's like after Sonic beat Knuckles and Tails, or the hologram of Knuckles and Tails in the race, you could hear the mission cleared theme. I was like, okay. I was like, all right, cool. Like I like that. So it makes me feel excited to, or I don't want to really say excited, but I look forward to what they're going to do next, because they understood the assignment. Like, they got it. Because I just felt like they had opportunities to do the same thing in the second one, and they didn't do it. And it's just like, well, who are you making the movies for? Are you making them for me, or are you making them for newer fans? You know what I mean? So that was my thing. And it's like, kids are not going to appreciate these movies like we will. You know, and I feel like the success of these films, it really hangs on older fans as well as younger audiences that are gonna want to go and catch the movie. So I really appreciated that shit. I'm trying to remember, you know, the other things that I really like. Or my favorite part of the movie, I don't want to talk about yet. I'm gonna talk about that in a minute. But all right, so then I might as well just go ahead and talk about it, but my favorite part of the movie was the ending. Well, as a matter of fact, no, fuck that. So okay, because I guess this is all in the same section, so I guess it applies. But my favorite part is essentially the climax of the movie. And what I really enjoyed was, again, because I had a feeling I had forgot about the Eclipse canon. Like, I remembered it, but I forgot the name of it. But I was like, oh, it's probably going to involve the Eclipse canon in some way, shape, or form. Because they ended up not going with the Bio Lizard like I wanted them to. Because I knew that there was going to be some sort of common enemy at some point. Because from jump, Shadow is not a real villain. Because you don't sympathize with villains, and there's too much. Shadow has too much going on that makes you sympathize for him for you to really consider him a villain. Even if villains have their reasoning for things, it's like we don't sympathize with Eggman the way that we sympathize with Shadow. So I knew at some point him and Sonic were going to join forces at some point. So what I liked was that Knuckles is the guardian of the Master Emerald, and I guess they made a pact at some point in the second film, I guess, because again, I haven't seen that movie in like 2 years. But they agreed that no one would use the Master Emerald, I guess, unless like absolutely necessary, and no one was going to use it for personal gain. So he wasn't going to basically tap into the power of the Chaos Emeralds without like an absolute need to do so. So when he thought that I don't know his name, but the white guy, the white guy in the movie, when he thought that he died, he felt like, oh my gosh, yo, if I crash one more time, he felt like he needed to use the Master Emerald, the Chaos Emeralds, to get the job done, and him and Knuckles disagreed. And what I really liked about Knuckles was that even though he said that he made a commitment to protecting the Master Emerald and not letting anybody use it, but he was like, he also made a commitment to essentially be his friend and to trust him. And I was like, that was a powerful moment right there. Like, that meant a lot. That meant a lot to me that even happened. So if I was Sonic, in the back of my mind, I'd be like, yo, like, Knuckles is a real one. So when Sonic became Super Sonic and went after Eggman and Gerald Robotnik, Eggman and Shadow, I was wondering, I was like, well, if he's Super Sonic, then how is Shadow gonna fight him off? And I figured at first he was going to, like, all right, so when he like tackled him, and then they're basically in outer space, you know, fighting, or he grabbed him, I was like, yo, wouldn't that be fire if, like, the power just translated over to Shadow, because they're both hedgehogs that can harness it, and then he just became Ultra Shadow just based off of contact, which didn't happen. And as they were fighting, he caught him with a good shot, like a good sneak shot, and then he lost the Chaos Emeralds for a quick moment. And when he went to go get it back, and they both transformed at the same time, that fight was like Dragon Ball Z caliber. And this is what I'm saying, like, they know that we are going out to go see these movies. Like, they know exactly who is coming to watch these movies. So I thought that that was fire, that the fight scene was actually on point, and it wasn't just some bullshit. Like, it was actually, like, for real. Now, they fight, everything like that was cool. Mind you, I went from laying down on the seats to sitting up and paying attention. That's how much, like, I knew how the story was gonna go, but I was still at the edge of my seat. And now, this was my favorite part. When Shadow and Sonic, they make amends, and they have that, like, very, like, heartfelt moment, which, again, I appreciated, because I think that, I don't really want to say Sonic so much, because I still feel that this iteration of Sonic is still different than the Sonic from the video games, if that makes sense. But Shadow, Tails, and Knuckles, I feel like, and again, maybe it's just me, but I feel like they stay more true to the actual characters that he does. But I felt like that moment really kind of captured the essence of who Shadow was and who he really is, and like his reasoning for wanting to, you know, save the Earth. When they teamed up as Super Sonic and Ultra Shadow, and they're fighting together, and they play the music, the oh my gosh, Live and Learn, I'm not even gonna lie, I almost cried. Like, if they had, like, because the thing is, I didn't like the fact that they cut away from that scene. I felt like they should have let the fans marinate in that. Like, I would have loved to be in a theater full of Sonic fans, like, because then I probably would have cried. Like I feel I'm getting a little emotional now, because that was just a very beautiful moment. Like, it was just nice to see that on screen as a guy that's been playing Sonic the Hedgehog games since I was a little ass kid. So to me, it was just like I had stars in my eyes when I was watching that, because I was like, yo, like, they really got it right. Like, they understood the assignment. And the only reason why is because they included the music. And I said in the first fucking rant, I said, yo, one of the biggest things, one of the biggest elements of Sonic the Hedgehog is the music. It's the stage music, the theme songs. If you can have a great video game, but if you don't have good music to go with it, it's not the same. You can't have Kingdom Hearts and not have the music to go with it. You can't have Final Fantasy games and not have the music to go with it. You can't have Super Mario and not have the music to go with it. Star Fox, Legend of Zelda, Sonic the Hedgehog, the list goes on and on. And I'm not just talking about Green Hill Zone and shit like that. Like, yeah, like I think they did that in the first two movies. I'm not talking about that. I'm talking about original music from the video games. And that, to me, was what pushed that Sonic 3 through the glass ceiling. It was the music. That was what, like, it triggered the nostalgia and that area in my brain that is associated with experiences and memories that are triggered by senses. You know, sight, sound, taste, touch. You know what I'm saying? Like, it engaged my senses and my sixth sense, because I got goosebumps watching that. That's why I was almost pushed to tears, because it, like, the little kid inside me was just so happy to see that moment in, like, a new way. So it's like I didn't have to, you know, turn on Sonic Adventure 2 Battle and play the game to relive that moment. You know, I could just go and watch it, you know, on screen and enjoy it. Oh my gosh. And enjoy it almost the same, or just the same, really. Because if I were to play right now, if I were to play Sonic the Hedgehog, like, you know what I'm saying, or if I were to play Sonic Adventure 2 Battle from start to finish, I'm talking about the hero side, the dark side, and then the question mark and then watch the full credit scene and shit like that, I would be moved to tears. To this day, there are certain things that just move me emotionally. And again, I thank the director, the screenwriters, whose ever idea it was to include the original music. Thank you. I thank you, because you understood the assignment. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, when people talk about cinema, like that moment right there, chef's kiss cinema.
Approved.
That's how you serve the fans, the old fans. You know what I mean? The real fans, the lifelong fans. Like, that's how you serve us. That's how you thank us. You know, for our patronage, for decades. That's how you repay me, by freaking heeding my requests and my demands. Because I said that. I was like, yo, because I honestly, like, if they had that mentality, then these movies would have been fire since the first one. Maybe. I mean, because I think with a franchise like this, it's gonna take a while for it to hit its stride, because I don't even remember if Tails was even in the first one. And if he wasn't, that's what I'm saying. So that's probably one of the reasons why that movie wasn't that great. Because Sonic, yeah, like, to me, he's one of my favorite characters, but Sonic is a package deal. You know, he's not like Mario, where, like, Mario's kind of generally all we really care about, because 90% of his games we're playing as him. You know what I'm saying? Yeah, you might have like Luigi Mansion, but we don't really care about Luigi the way, I mean, most of us don't care about Luigi.
Super Mario, nigga! You ain't nothing but a player 2 ass nigga, Luigi. That's it. That's all you are. That's all you ever gonna be. When you die, that's how niggas gonna remember you. Player fucking 2. I carry this team. You'd be dead in 5 minutes without me.
You know, we don't care about him the way we care about Mario. So again, they truly got that right. And again, like, that's how you do it. You can't take a video game character and not include these elements. It's particularly Sonic, because I know I can only speak for myself, but I know I'm probably speaking for a lot of us when I say we're probably listening to Sonic the Hedgehog music in the gym, because I do. When I'm driving, I'm listening to Sonic the Hedgehog music. Aquatic Mind, like, yo, I'm listening to these songs. Pumpkin Hill, Death Chamber, BioLizard. That's what I'm saying. I'm listening to all of these songs. So that was my favorite part, and it so much to the point where I felt like emotionally threatened, because I was like, oh shit, what if Shadow dies? Which I knew he wasn't gonna die. You're not gonna do a movie like that and you're gonna kill off his character. Like, you just can't do that. So in the post-credit scene, I had a feeling like it was going to involve him coming back. Which, speaking of that, they went, all right. So one of my favorite movie YouTube channels that I watch for movie news and reviews and all that shit, he made it seem like they were going to do a crossover with Mario, Mario or Detective Pikachu, which I personally would think is a bad idea, especially Detective Pikachu, because as far as I know, that movie was garbage, because that movie didn't get a sequel. And Pokemon is a franchise that's not really in the best of spaces, in my opinion. Maybe a Sonic and Mario, or Mario and Sonic crossover way down the line. Because if I'm not mistaken, didn't, you know, the Super Mario movie make like $1 billion or close to that? Basically, the first movie was highly successful. So I know at some point they probably could do that, but in a way that both characters can shine, because one of them has to take a back seat. And I wouldn't want it to be Sonic, because if I had to choose between the two of them, I'm gonna go with Sonic all day, every day. But Amy coming in, I thought that was cool. But because my thing is, they have to, like, I don't know where they can really go from here story-wise without it starting to take a decline, because I know a lot of people came out to see the movie was because of Shadow. So what are they gonna do now? You know what I mean? Are they going to do a story based off of Sonic Heroes, and then you're gonna get like Ultra or Super Metal Sonic or some shit? Which I thought that was cool, but that was a video game, so I don't know what they're gonna do, because they tried to make Amy seem super cool. She shows up in the cloak with the hammer and all of that. I think that would be nice to see, maybe some romance between her and Sonic. I mean, I know she likes Sonic don't really like her, but that'll be interesting. As long as they do the story right, I'm fine with it. because they're gonna use the video games as the source material. So for them to have like 30 different Metal Sonic, you know, robots and shit like that, they're probably gonna do, you know, something. I don't know what it is, because I figured, I was just like, they can't really do a movie about Metal Sonic because we already have one, and that one was really good. And the fact that there was like 30 different ones, I don't know. Like I don't know, because maybe again, like, Eggman is gonna like make I don't know, because it's just like, why would he do that when him and Sonic teamed up? I don't know, you know what I'm saying? But I know that I'm excited in the future because this franchise has a lot of potential, you know. And I will say this, because there was something that I literally just thought of that okay, what they need to do, this is what they should do for perhaps maybe the final Sonic the Hedgehog movie. But what they have to do is they have to get like all of the characters together so they could basically be their own collective of heroes, kind of like the Avengers but Sonic. So you're gonna need Sonic, Tails, Rouge, Knuckles, maybe SBO, fucking I forgot the fucking crocodile dude and the bee, because I haven't played Sonic Heroes in a long ass time. But them, you gotta get maybe E101 Gamma coming back, or what is the one from Sonic Heroes? I literally haven't played this game in so long, but basically you gotta get all of them. And what they need to do is they gotta use Chaos. They gotta do a film based off of the first Sonic adventure, because I don't think they really use elements of that movie. Because Eggman, from my understanding, he was the main villain in Sonic 1 and 2. Oh my gosh. If I'm not mistaken. So what they gotta do is they gotta do a Sonic movie and Chaos is the villain. And we gotta see Chaos go through most of his transformations, because that was the first Sonic game I've ever played in my entire life, and one of the things that I always remembered was his transformations and how hard they were when I was a kid. You know, Chaos 1, what was it, Chaos 2, then they jumped to Chaos 6, and then Chaos 7. Oh, no, it was like I think it was like 1, 2, I think it was like either 4 or 5, I think it was like 1, 2, 4, 6, and then 7, because 6 was the fat one, and then 7 was like the sea serpent dragon type. If they do that, because this is what I'm saying, you gotta raise the stakes with each film. I don't want to feel like, oh, I know that all of these, you know, these characters, they're gonna win, or at least even if I know they're gonna win, I want it to at least be a challenge where I'm wondering how they can make it out, because in that particular story, Shadow wasn't there. You know what I mean? So they have to do it in a sense that maybe, like, I don't know, Eggman is manipulated by, I don't know, some sort of greater entity, and he's controlled to bring Chaos back to life or some shit like that. I don't know. You know, because technically, if I'm not mistaken, doesn't Chaos dwell within the Master Emerald, or wasn't he trapped in there? And then when the Master Emerald was broken, that's when he was released. I don't know, but that's what they should do. Or if I was a producer, I would want to see that. So I would start to talk to the studios and say, listen, this is what, you know, we need to do, because I want to see the cities get destroyed. I want to see New York City get flooded. You know what I'm saying? I want to see the world's sea levels rise to the point where, like, freaking, you know, human life can barely be sustained if shit continues to go on the way that it does. That's what I want. You know, I want to see the end of the world in the Sonic universe, and then I want to see them win again. You know, them all do it together. I think that would be a powerful story. So if there's like, if they go on to do like 5 movies or some shit like that, that should be like the 4th or the 5th one, or something like that. Because that has to be the last one. Because after that, what can you do without, you know, how should I say, squeezing the sponge dry? You know, but anyway, it was a great film. It was a great film, and like I said, just the same way I was trashing the movie, I should be able to big up the movie just the same. Because like I said, everything that I had to say before wasn't because I hated the movie. It was more so because I'm a true Sonic fan, and I'm also a film fan, and I want to see them get it right, but don't alienate me in the process of doing these movies. And I feel like they really hurt us this time. You know, because a lot of times when you try to do video game movies, it's hard to get it right. a Mortal Kombat. You know what I'm saying? So really enjoyed this movie. I wanted to do a rant, and I did it. So those are my thoughts on Sonic the Hedgehog, although unconcise.